All right, everyone. Well, I have 1:30 on my watch, and so we'll go ahead and get started. Call this meeting of the House Judiciary Committee to order. We'll begin with invocation and maybe put him on the spot, but if Chairman Burchett, if you'd be willing to give the committee invocation today. Thank you.
Let's bow. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessing you've bestowed upon us, Lord. Lord, I pray that you just lead, guide, and direct us through this committee meeting and give us the wisdom necessary to make the decisions that are best for the people in the state of Georgia. I ask all this in your Heavenly Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
And we have 4 bills that are on the calendar for today. And I'll just go ahead and announce that if anybody's here in the hall or online watching concerning House Bill 90, we're going to be moving that bill on to the next calendar. So that's not going to be taken up today, and just working through some language on that was brought up in subcommittee. So I won't be hearing that today, but we will go ahead and move on to our bills. And first bill, just going in order today, is House Bill 97. Is Representative Leverett here? I see. And Representative, if you want, you can present from where you are. If you'd like to, you can come up here and sit in the hot seat. What would you prefer? And you're number 5. What are you? Representative Leverett seeking to set a House record for a freshman passing a bill right out of the gate. So Andy picked Judiciary to bring the bill through. But with that in mind, Representative, we'll hear from you on House Bill 97, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to thank you and Vice Chairman Gunner for sort of helping me expedite this bill along and scheduling it and hearing it so promptly. And I want to thank the subcommittee also for their favorable do pass recommendation on the bill. I really do appreciate that. As I said to the subcommittee, I know it sort of causes the eyes of even the most gullible representative around here to roll when someone says this is just a simple bill. But I do feel this is a simple bill, although the context is a little more complex. All the bill does is it requires the chief deputy clerk of a probate court to swear an oath. Traditionally, or in the past, that has not been required. So they would have to swear an oath, and the oath would be placed upon the minutes of the court, which is customary whenever oaths of court officials are taken. The reason for that relates to a bill that this committee passed by substitute, I believe, 2 years ago and was approved by the House to clarify or establish a new line of succession in the event of the untimely death of the probate judge during term. And the chief deputy clerk is one of the people in that line, and the oath would provide a mechanism for memorializing and confirming in writing who that person is, so that in the event of the unfortunate passing of the judge, that if the clerk would be the appropriate person to succeed them for the remainder of the term, there would be some written record of it. Apparently that's been an issue where unfortunately that did happen in one county, and there was some, even though no one really questioned it, some of the perhaps the county commissioner or someone wanted just something in writing to confirm it, and this would fill that sort of need. And I believe it is endorsed by the Council of Probate Judges.
All right. Any questions for the sponsor from members of the committee? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Representative Leverett. We typically do a subcommittee report just from our subcommittees, and so I'll ask, I believe it came through Chairman Gunner's committee. Was there a do pass recommendation, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, there was.
All right, very good. And anything you want to add to what the sponsor says? Not necessary, but just if there's anything to add on.
No, just that I believe it is a simple bill.
Yes, sir. All right, very good. Well, at this point in time, is there a motion on House Bill 97 as introduced? All right, there's a motion to pass. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion, amendments? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of House Bill 97 LC 412658, please signify by saying aye. All right, just want to make sure everyone online has an opportunity. Any other aye votes online?
Aye.
All right, see Representative Reeves, we got that. All right, any others? All right, all opposed? All right, hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations, Representative Leverett. And what we'll do is my office will be ready to receive the House Rules request form that you need to fill out and I need to sign. So if you don't mind taking care of that, your first opportunity, that way we can make sure that you have all the paperwork that you need to get on to rules. So yes, sir. Thank you. All right, very good. So we'll move on now to House Bill 134. And is Representative Anderson here in the hallway? Okay. Yeah, Chairman Fleming, maybe if you could grab him. Representative Anderson, it's good to see you today. Thank you for being here. And if you would, please, just whenever you're set and situated, present House Bill 134.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I put that away. I was watching you guys from the hallway there.
A bit of a delay on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am here today to discuss with you House Bill 134, which is some changes we are proposing to, let me get my notes open here, to Chapter 14 and Chapter 18 of Title 50 as it regards to open meetings and open records, specifically to allow state, county, and local government agencies to enter into executive or closed session for the discussion of cybersecurity contracts, plans, and certain issues around cybersecurity protection for personal identity and ransomware protection.
And I'll just ask, if you are not a member of the committee, if you would make sure that you yield your seat to a member of the committee. All right. Are there any questions for Representative Anderson? Representative Oliver, Chairman Oliver, you number 12.
11.
Yes, ma'am.
Is cybersecurity defined anywhere? I'm looking at line of 50, provision of cybersecurity services. I'm trying to think of all the different contracts that could come under that definition if we don't have a definition.
That is a question as far as the definition of cybersecurity in the code. I'm not aware of one, but I cannot attest for sure that there is not a defined definition. I do know that that is an industry standard definition that was used to cover many items.
My understanding, I was in subcommittee and that exact point was brought up by one of the witnesses, and there is not a definition for that term elsewhere in the code.
But the bill does go on to say that a board has to take a public vote if they do a contract. Are there any other contracts other than real estate contracts that are exempted from open records?
Possibly litigation as well.
Right.
So this is a new step for contract definitions.
If I may, there is a provision in Chapter 18, which states that a closed session can be held for to discuss any matter, contract, or plan that normally would not be disclosed to the public. That includes security plans, that sort of thing. What we're doing here is we're delineating that because of the contemporary nature of cybersecurity, ransomware attacks, that sort of thing. We're delineating this out as a specific item that can be entered into executive session for.
All right, any other questions for the sponsor? So this came out of Chairman, oh, I'm sorry, Representative Jones, what's your number?
7, please.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Representative, we discussed in subcommittee the idea of having a bit of a broader question on the definition of computer information technology and communication systems. And we were talking a little bit about internet connected devices or something similar. Was that anything that you were able to discuss with lead counsel or with the chairman?
I did pose the question that we discussed to Legislative Council. Their use of the term information technologies was intended to be somewhat broad and basically cover anything that would be covered by a governmental IT department, which would cover those areas that we were talking about.
Okay, thank you.
All right, very good. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much, Representative Anderson. You're welcome to hold tight right there, just in case there are any other questions. So this came out of Chairman Scoggins' subcommittee. Mr. Chairman, was there a due pass recommendation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you want to add? All right. All right. At this point in time, I'll entertain a motion. So motion due pass. Is there a second? Motion due pass in a second on House Bill 134 LC 470704. Is there any discussion or amendments? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And anyone online that may be muted, Representative
Aye.
Reeves, vote aye. Gotcha. Anyone else? Representative Bruce votes aye. Very good. All right. And all opposed? All right. Hearing none, it passes unanimously. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Representative. Another freshman member who is setting a record for getting legislation passed. So congratulations. All right. Very good. So we will now move on to Senate Bill. We'll just hold for just a moment. Could we do a sound check online? Mr. Tolbert, would you please unmute yourself and
Can you hear me?
just give us a test?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear
All
me?
right, so we're not able to hear you.
Oh,
So great.
can you hear me now?
So we can't hear you, Mr. Tolbert, but
Oh.
we're working to get that addressed right now. And it looks
Okay.
but it's clear you can hear us, which
I
is good.
can.
So
can
sound
hear
is
you.
going one direction here. Well, with that in mind, we'll go ahead and move on to Senate Bill 9 at this time. I see that we have the Senate sponsor here. Senator, thank you for being here today, as well as the House sponsor. If you gentlemen would like to come on up here and have a seat, or just as whatever your preference is. Dr. Newton, you just presenting the bill today? Okay, very good.
If you don't mind, Chairman, if my delegation mate in Columbia County, Chairman Fleming, if he could accompany me, because
Absolutely.
together on a lot of that.
Mr. Chairman, actually, it'd probably be easier if it's all right if you, there you go. Just as long as you have a microphone. Perfect. All right, very good. So Dr. Newton, we will hear from you on Senate Bill 9 as passed in the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. It's good to be with you, and it is early in session, although as the speaker said, we're in the second quarter. So today I bring you Senate Bill 9, a bill that just unanimously passed the Senate, which creates the Columbia Judicial Circuit. It creates it through a split with the Augusta Judicial Circuit. Over the past 2 decades, the proposal of this split has been long discussed as the population of Columbia County has continued to rise exponentially. Today, due to that growth, the current Augusta Judicial Circuit represents the largest multi-county circuit in the state. With more growth expected, with growth in cybersecurity and other areas of healthcare, and with the current situation of the judges, it does look like now is the time for this split to be realized. Back in 2018, Senator Harold Jones asked for a circuit boundary study on the Augusta Circuit. At that time, of the 8 judges allotted to the circuit, 4 lived in Columbia County and 4 resided in Richmond County, and no judge resided in Burke County. Because of the relatively high number of judges residing in Columbia County, the study's review of Columbia County's ability to stand as a single county circuit at that time did not garner a recommendation. Since the time of that study, a judge of the Augusta Circuit who lived in Columbia County has retired, Judge Michael Annis, leaving Columbia County now with just 3 judges, a number that the Judicial Council has determined as ideal based on the Columbia County workload. Senate Bill 9 was drafted to ensure that the judges and the district attorneys of of both the existing Augusta Circuit and the new Columbia Circuit would receive the same county salary supplements, and that no county pays more in total for those supplements. The exception being to that is that Columbia County will now have to provide a salary supplement for its new district attorney if it comes into play. All costs of the Columbia County Circuit will be paid for by Columbia County alone. The cost of the Augusta Circuit, formerly paid for by Columbia County, have been allocated amongst Richmond County and Burke County based on the same proportional responsibility they currently have for the cost of the circuit. The bill allows for Burke and Richmond County to amend their respective responsibilities for circuit-wide costs by mutual agreement between their county commissioners. A key thing, the retirement provisions in the bill ensure that the judges of both circuits shall continue to receive the same retirement supplements as they do now, with Columbia County continuing to pay retirement supplements of senior and retired judges of the Augusta Circuit who retired before the split. Columbia County has been preparing for this split and has acquired a tremendous facility to house the judges and district attorney of the Columbia Circuit when the time comes. Key thing, this proposal has received support and endorsement in writing from the commissions of both the Columbia and Richmond County commissions, which represents about 95% of the population. After receiving two amendments on the Senate floor by Senator Jones, both to further ensure the effect of the split would not disrupt the Augusta Circuit, Senate Bill 9 passed the Senate unanimously, 51-0. So that's a brief overview. I'm glad to walk through the sections of the bill. If you think that's appropriate, or Chairman Fleming, do you have anything you could add or would like to fill in any blanks?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Representative Newton gave a very good summary of the situation. We're blessed that all the local governments back home are in agreement with this. The governor has in his budget proposal put the money into the budget to make this possible, both on the public defender and the prosecuting attorney's side. I've had good conversations with the speaker and also the chairman of the Appropriations Committee and received very favorable outlooks for that staying in the budget on the House side. I've also had the same conversations with the Lieutenant Governor and the chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, and their responses were likewise. So right now, everything is lining up very well. We're very proud to have unanimous bipartisan support for this bill in the Senate, particularly the Senate Minority Whip, Senator Harold Jones, who is a practicing attorney in the Augusta Judicial Circuit. So my county, Columbia County, as Representative Newton referenced, has been planning for this for really a couple of decades. It's been talked about, and we've now grown to be such of a size, probably 170,000 people in the next census, that we're really going to be an oddity if we don't become a single county circuit, because most counties that side have already made that move, or at least the majority have. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions, Mr. Chairman, about any of the details of this the committee members might have, but I would just simply appreciate your support as one of the last bits of this coming together.
All right. Any questions from members of the committee? Number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You stated that the county commissions support this, or county commission supports this.
Correct.
Have they put in writing their support for a supplement for the district attorney?
Yes, sir.
They have.
And in fact, this bill calls for it.
It does. Okay.
Yes, sir. It's in the bill that the supplement that is being received by the attorney, the district attorney for the Augusta Judicial Circuit will be the same supplement that will be received by the new Columbia County district attorney and the Columbia County commissioners, who, by the way, my chairman and his vice chairman and our county manager are in the room next door waiting to come answer any questions and tell you yes to that.
Okay.
If we so need them to, but the answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other questions for the House sponsor or Chairman Fleming? Yes, Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't know if that was registering or not. If you said this and I missed it, I apologize. How much is going to be put in the state budget for the cost of this?
On the PD side, it's approximately, and give me some grace here with the numbers.
Sure.
It's in the high $300,000s of dollars. On the district attorney side, it's a little over $1 million.
All right. And what year did Senator Jones conduct his study?
2018.
Has there been a significant increase in population between 2018 and now when we're hearing this for the first time?
No.
There was
Yeah.
the decrease in the number of judges that lived in Columbia County, though.
That's the difference.
So as the population went up some, the number of judges went down from 4 to 3, therefore fitting the district more appropriately.
Okay. And do you know when was the last time we had a split from an existing circuit
It
by
was
a
in
county?
2002, and there was some representative named Tom Murphy that carried the bill. And it was making Paulding County its own circuit. To that question, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this has taken place several times in Georgia. That's why we have 15, 16, or 17 single county circuits as our state grew. Most of the larger counties have already done this, and a lot of this splitting happened in the 80s and 90s. We're once again the largest multi-county circuit, and in the minority of counties for counties our size that are not already a single county circuit.
Are you aware of the size of the Coweta circuit, which looks to be the same, if not larger, with 5 counties?
That it is not as large as 400-something thousand people.
These are 2010 numbers. Coweta, 338,714, shows Augusta at 347,918.
Okay.
So they're probably both have grown a little bit since 2010 is my guess.
And I would not have the updated numbers. At the last figuring, we were the largest multi-county circuit. So I suspect they're close to us. But I don't think any single county in that circuit is 200,000 people like ours is, or I could be mistaken.
In 2010, Carroll was 119,000 and Coweta itself was 148,000. I suspect they've grown. If I could have one final question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Am I correct that the Augusta Circuit has elected for the first time an African-American district attorney?
Yes.
No further questions.
All right, any other questions from members of the committee?
Yes.
I see online. Thank you. Representative Bruce, I'll recognize you through Zoom.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the.
So Representative Bruce, we are unable to hear you right now. If I could ask House Media Services to please fix the Zoom audio so that we can hear Representative Bruce questions.
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Yeah, if it's all right, Representative Bruce, Representative Walensky is going to call you on the speakerphone or call you on his phone, and we'll put you on speaker into the mic so we can.
Okay, I'm on the phone now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
You can hear me through the phone. Okay. I'm just looking for clarification. I had this conversation with Chairman Fleming the other day. Imagery is important. And, you know, passage of this legislation, you know, it's going to happen, I'm sure, but there needs to be some clarity, and I'm hoping that you can give it to me. Why now? Because the imagery is that this is all happening because of the election of a African-American Democrat to be the district attorney. And if that's not the case, I'm just looking for something from the presenter to show that that is not the case. Because as we talk to constituents, as we talk to others, right now that is the feeling, that this is strictly the timing is because of the election that just took place. And that we don't want to undo. There's going to be a lot of election bills coming up, and we don't want to be in a position of where we're undoing what the public has voted to do.
I appreciate the questions, Representative Bruce, and the prior conversations on that. Thank you. Representative Harold Jones himself is an African-American. He is the minority whip in the Senate, as I understand it. I wish all of you could have heard when he went to the well of the Senate just a few days ago and eloquently spoke in favor of this split. I don't think he's doing it because he doesn't like the color of the skin of the new district attorney that was elected, because it's the same color of his skin. the Augusta Richmond County government, which is a Democratic dominated government, African-American dominated government, vote overwhelmingly in favor of this. I don't think they voted overwhelmingly in favor of it because they're concerned about the color of the skin of the new district attorney. So I think those are two of the messages that you could send the local people who have an opinion on this and are not concerned about that aspect of it. And they've proven it with their vote and their words. I can say to you this, I was chairman of the county commission in Columbia County about 20 years ago, before I was a member of the House. And when I was chairman of the county commission 20 years ago, this was being talked about. And at that time, it was not Republicans pushing it. It was African Americans from Augusta, Richmond County, then also wanting to do this. I, at the time, as chairman of the county commission, thought we were too small. We were about 100,000 people. I think what has changed is about 70,000 folks in the meantime. I can also tell you this, I don't know, I'm not going to ascribe to this person particular motives, but I'm going to give you a possibility. The Republican district attorney that lost the election in 2020, she moved to my county from Richmond County. And I think she did it in anticipation, my guess, knowing that this was going to happen in 2020, no matter who won that election. My county bought a $7 million building to make this happen before the election occurred, in anticipation of having our own judicial circuit. Harold Jones asked for the study in 2018 before he knew who the district attorney was going to be in our circuit. So I think there's just a lot of good evidence that although I understand the accusation, it doesn't hold up when you examine the facts. And my folks back home, of course, there's disagreement about this. There's never unanimity on almost anything, but the overwhelming majority of people, particularly the people who have been elected, are asking us to approve this, and the Senate has done it in a bipartisan, unanimous fashion. And I would simply put that forward to you in an attempt to answer that question.
All right. Representative Bruce, any follow-up?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Representative Wilson, you number 10. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Fleming, I'm sitting behind you.
Yes, sir.
There's a pole in between us, so you don't need to look at me.
I feel your presence.
And as long as you do, that's all that's important. My question to you, sir, is you mentioned Senator Jones' support of this bill. Are you able to represent to us how the members of this chamber from the Augusta region feel about this?
I know that there are, you have 4 of them in the room. There's 4 of them in the room. They all support it. Myself, the only person that represents both Richmond County and Columbia County is Dr. Newton, sitting right here. He supports it. Representative Lott supports it. I have been told Representative Brian Prince also supports it. The other 3, to my knowledge, have not made a public statement one way or another at this point. So, and Senator Burns, our other representative, co-sponsored the bill in the Senate. So you certainly have a majority, and I hope that gets to be unanimous, but I don't know for sure yet.
Thank you. Representative Kelly. Let's see any other questions. We do have some witnesses signed up, so we will go ahead and hear from them. First is, sorry. All right, so first we have Mr. Bell, who is here in person. Dr. Newton, if you could kind of shift over just a little bit, we will let the witness come in. And Mr. Bell, if you can hear me in the hallway, if you'd please come on in. While he's coming in, Mr. Tolbert, would you give us another sound check, please?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
And one more time, please.
All right. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
I'm starting to hear something. Do we have a
Will you try again?
All right, sure. Testing,
Now
1,
we
2,
can
3.
hear you.
Oh, good.
All right. So we know what we'll need to do when the time comes to get that working. All right, very good. Mr. Bell, thank you for being here today, and committee would be happy to hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you would just pull that mic up, please. If you just pull that mic up. Yeah,
Is this
thank you.
better?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Judiciary Committee, thank you for having me here today and inviting me to speak with you. As I said, my name is David Bell Jr. I'm from Augusta, Georgia. It's a personal honor for me to be here. My grandfather, John Bell, was a member of this House, and I believe served on this committee when he was a state representative from Augusta. His grandfather was the second mayor of Harlem, where Mayor Fleming lives. I say that because I have long ties to the Augusta Judicial Circuit. I was born there. I was raised there. My wife was born in Columbia County and was raised in Columbia County. We both went to high school in Columbia County. But I'm from Augusta. I mention this because, like I said, this is an important issue to me. I represent today the Committee to Preserve the Augusta Judicial Circuit. This is a committee of local citizens made up of lawyers, teachers, businessmen and women from Burke County, Columbia County, and Richmond County. They've selected me to be their voice today because I'm a former ADA in the Augusta Judicial Circuit. I worked under Judge Ashley Wright when she was district attorney. She hired me. I then continued to work there for several years and then went into private practice. I've tried civil cases in all three counties. I've tried or done civil or criminal cases in all three counties as a prosecutor. The Committee to Preserve the Augusta Judicial Circuit is a single issue committee that's to preserve the Augusta Judicial Circuit. I'm here to give you some insight on the circuit. It was founded in 1870. It includes Burke County, Columbia County, and Richmond County. The circuit right now has 8 Superior Court judges. There's an elected district attorney. The circuit supervises the juvenile court. In parts of the circuit, there's a state court in Burke County and Richmond County. There's magistrate courts in all 3 counties. This past year, Judges John Blythe, Cheryl Jolly, and Danny Craig were all reelected by the 3 counties and its citizens. This November, Jared Williams received 88,625 votes to become the first African-American elected to the position of district attorney for the Augusta Judicial Circuit. To split the circuit would disenfranchise tens of thousands of voters. The Committee to Preserve the Augusta Judicial Circuit, for various reasons, believes that Senate Bill 9 is not a good bill. I agree with this belief. Some of the reasons are financially splitting the circuit will cost additional money to the individual counties. Judge Daniel Craig or Danny Craig has done an analysis of this, and I'll be happy to provide that with the chairman or the committee. It is estimated that it may cost something along the lines of $600,000 or $400,000 for Burke County in additional monies. It would include additional money to Richmond County of about $1.6 million. It would include approximately $1.2 to $1.4 million to Columbia County. Additionally, the splitting of the circuit would cause logistical issues and problems. There would be a waste of judicial resources. There would be a waste of what we call judicial economy. As a former assistant district attorney, I have some thoughts on that, and I have some history with it. Right now, we're in a COVID-19 crisis. Still, many of the citizens of the 3 counties who will be very much impacted by the decision of this committee in the State House have not been able to have their voice or their concerns given to the local commissioners, to their local delegation here at the Capitol. What we need right now is unity. Our community does not end at the county lines of the individual counties. Our community works best when we come together and we work together. The idea to have Columbia County split from its sister counties was announced about 24 hours in the newspaper after the November election, when the first African-American was elected district attorney, defeating an unappointed incumbent. The Augusta Judicial Circuit binds the 3 counties in a way that no other organization or group does in the area. Keeping it is a benefit not just to Augusta, but it's a benefit to the whole state. To split the circuit, you would need to add a district attorney and support staff. Some of that money will come from the state, which affects every citizen and every taxpayer of the state of Georgia. Mr. Chairman, thank you, and thank you to the Judiciary Committee for inviting me here today. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can answer or give any insights that I may be able to provide to the committee today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bell. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you very much for being here, sir. All right, we have two witnesses signed up who are coming to us through Zoom. First, and I apologize if I mispronounce her name, but Dr. Donna Moraine. Dr. Moraine, yes, we can see you. Yeah, thank you. If you would just hold tight for me while I get this sound turned on here. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Bell. Thank you. Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, doctor, you can go ahead and testify. Doctor, you will have to unmute yourself, please.
Oh, can you hear me now? Am I?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for letting me speak to my opposition to the Senate bill. I apologize. A couple of my points were just spoken by Mr. Bell, but I do have some unique points as well. So as he said, the Richmond, Columbia, and Burke County have been working together since 1870. That's 150 years of cooperation together. In explaining their resolution, when Columbia County announced their motivation to have a single county circuit, the motivation they put in the newspaper was cost savings. Judge Daniel Craig, one of the Augusta Circuit judges, told the Augusta Chronicle over the weekend that this is a $3.2 million lie. Judge Craig, who is a former district attorney himself and an accounting major, he budgeted out the cost, as Mr. Bell said, and he calculated that both Richmond and Columbia County taxpayers will pay over $1 million more each year, and Burke County would pay an additional $500,000 every year. And we don't just have to take Judge Craig's word for it. If you compare Columbia County to Paulding County, which was the last one to become a single county circuit in 2002, Columbia County has budgeted about $1 million less per year than Paulding County currently spends on its circuit, and they have a comparable population size, so it's a fair comparison. But additional cost isn't the only reason to oppose the split. The Judicial Council of Georgia has an established policy on the study of superior court judgeships and circuit boundaries, which lays out a 4 multi-pronged criteria for evaluating whether circuit splits are justified. This may have been what Harold Jones requested in 2018. Legislators are supposed to request the study in the year before legislation is introduced to initiate a circuit split. From where I sit as just a citizen of Augusta, I am guessing this hasn't been done. And one of the reasons I suspect that is that one of the criteria the Judicial Council uses to judge splits is opposition from judges on the circuit. And several of our judges have gone to the press to voice their strong opposition to this split. And I wonder whether they would feel the need to go to the press if they had been asked in this formal capacity that's laid out in the established policy. Senator Anderson did present the Senate Judiciary Committee with a more limited study last week in their hearing. And even this limited study showed that should this split occur, Richmond and Burke counties will be left with an unacceptably high number of cases. And I'm guessing, because I haven't seen the study, that they judged this based on the caseloads from 2018. We all know that 2021 caseloads are going to be even higher because of the suspension of jury trials during COVID. Even without this split occurring, newspaper stories have said, I've quoted judges saying it could take 1 to 3 years to work through this jury trial backlog, even without the split. Not to mention that the bill as currently written requires the caseloads and the budget dollars for the circuit to be divided on July 1st of this year. That doesn't give a lot of time for our already overburdened courts to work out the logistics of case reassignments, hiring new staff, and splitting the budget, which has already been budgeted for this calendar year. Yet another reason I oppose the split is that our current circuit offers drug court, mental health court, and veterans court, which provide services specific to those populations. I haven't seen any plans from Columbia County to recreate those services for their residents. And at least one of the judges that they plan to take for their circuit is he currently oversees one of those alternative courts. So I would hate to lose his expertise from the Augusta circuit, and I would hate for Columbia County residents to no longer have access to those alternative courts. And finally, as was previously said by multiple participants today, there's the unavoidable issues of perception and precedent. So the last split, as we said, was for Spalding County in 2002, but at least 3 other jurisdictions have discussed splitting their circuit, including Coweta, one of the members discussed earlier, and all of them remain intact. So I don't see why Columbia County needs this split right now. And we have an established protocol that would determine when splits are justified. So just to reiterate, this will cost everyone more money. The courts are already overburdened in this terrible pandemic. The proper study, to my mind, has not been done, and it will all cost all of us millions more dollars. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of the committee? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much, Doctor. Next, we have Mr. Adam King, who is joining us on Zoom. Mr. King, are you there? Okay, we do not have Mr. King. I think Mr. Bell was here maybe to speak on behalf of Mr. King and attorneys. Mr. King is an attorney. All right, very good. So we do not have any other witnesses for this bill. So at this point in time, I will consider the majority whip's motion. All right, there's a motion to pass from the majority whip. Is there a second? There's a motion, a second. Any discussion or amendments? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of Senate Bill 9 as passed in the state Senate signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those online, Representative Reeves online. All right, all
Yes.
opposed? All right. And Representative Bruce is opposed. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. So this bill will move on to Rules Committee. If Senator, you would please complete the Rules Committee form that's required in the House and bring it by my office so that I can sign it. We can get that finalized. All right, very, very good. That takes care of all of our bills that are on our agenda. If you would please watch announcements for our agenda scheduling for next week. Those should be coming out in the next 24 hours. Thank you. We are adjourned.